welcome to Flory Models Friday Roundup Show. This is a show where we have a look back over the last week, see what we've been up to and what we've been talking about. So basically Monday we were all about this guy, which is the Special Hobby beautiful Tempest. And I must admit, it's one of those things where you talk about this type of aircraft and most people wouldn't have a clue what you're on about. And then you get to modelers and sort of aviation guys and historians, things like that, and they know exactly what this aircraft is. And it's amazing, really. I thought it was, you know, to be honest, I'd never reviewed it first. I've had it since about November. It was just one of those things. And then obviously did the review and everybody's been talking about it. Yes, we do know it comes in a couple of flavours. I didn't know that at the time of doing this one. I thought this one had the goodies in it as well. But as we know, this is sort of like the weekend edition. You can buy the aftermarket stuff all as separates, but there is the versions of this called High Tech, which are, well, they're the lovely ones. They've got all the goodies inside it, all the niceties and everything else like that. I know a lot of you are very excited about other versions of this that are coming out as well. And I must admit, I did have a look at the old Hannett store to see what's coming along soon. And it lists them in there, and I must admit some very tasty ones amongst there. So I might be doing a version of it, not that one, but slightly different. I might get one of the high-tech ones and go to town with it. It'd be really nice to have a 30-second one. But again, caused a little bit of talking about it, the way I was saying about like a limited run kit, things like that. I still stand by everything I said in there. I don't think it's probably the best kit in the world for a beginner because they do need a little bit of work. But definitely if you've been, you know, in the hobby for the last sort of couple of years and you've got the basics down, pretty down pat, you can turn that into a really nice looking aircraft with minimal work. Especially if you're going for something like that one, which has got everything straight out of the box, rather than trying to shoehorn resin and photo etch and all things like that in there, because obviously that takes a little bit more finesse and stuff like that. But generally, a lovely kit, beautiful subject, and you all seem to agree with that one. Also, this week made the return of the vlogs. So this is the proper vlogs where I go around my handheld camera, and I can show you it this time because it's here. This is it. This is all I do all the vlogging with, which you see me do this close-up work and all stuff like that, is this little dinky guy here. He's absolutely great for it. But you seem to love it. I enjoy doing it. The reason I stopped doing it, a couple of people have come up with some various ideas, but really it's just time. When you're doing vlogging and stuff like that, you have to have a rough idea what you're doing. So it's not like you have a script or anything, and I'm pretty unscripted, as you know. You know, it's nice to have a rough idea. But when I was doing lots of sort of business things and the boring stuff, to be honest, like site work, paperwork, stuff like that, you know, that's not exciting. So that's why I didn't bother doing it last week or the last couple of weeks. But they have made a return. They are to stay. And as I say, there is some changes coming up next month. But obviously, members, you'll be non-affected. You'll still get me every day as we make our way through with that one. So that was that. So it's nice to do Q&A on the fly. So in the morning, what we do, we talk about what happened last night, your feedback, some of the questions that comes up, stuff like that. And I can answer you right there and then, because normally when I finish, obviously, the evening show, or the last part of the vlog, it sits here, so it's quite handy. So when you guys say, we were talking about tapes and various things like that on the A10 for doing the gasket work, about it, I can literally just get the camera and show you there and then, because it's literally still here. So it's a nice way of being very, very interactive, and it's something that I'm trying to make even more. And I've got a couple of new things that are going to be starting next month as well to make me even more interactive. And we're not just talking the live stuff, but just generally ways that I can give feedback direct, because that is the trouble. You know, even if you get asked a question, the questions sit there for a couple of days, then you get around to answering them. I like to do it literally there and then, and if I can do a video answer to it, that's even better, because I can physically show you instead of having to describe it. And showing you, one, it's quicker, secondly, obviously it paints a better picture of what I'm on about as well. So if it is a tutorial, a quick thing, or showing you the part up close and stuff like that on the fly, it's what makes it a lot more interactive and a lot more fun for me, and hopefully a lot more information and entertaining for you. So that was Monday. Steve's, we had, so I changed his little thing here. It's Steve's part 2, working with oils. I don't know what he called it, but that's what I call it. Obviously, he's doing the A10 as well, exactly the same as me. It's the same kit. And then he's gone around and weathered it completely different. With me, where I did my weathering all based really on the clay wash and then polishing it to different grades and finishes, that he's gone through the oil way of doing oil weathering and stuff like that. So he's shooting a tutorial and he's getting very good at it now. So he did that one. It's around about half an hour, went up on Tuesday afternoon, and you could then follow him. It's free to watch as well. You just have to go onto the Flory Model site and click on the Today page and it's there. Okay, just look at Tuesday and you'll see it. And he goes through nice close-up angle as well, exactly how he does all his oil work and things like that. So really nice to see on that one, and as I say, he's doing very well on the old things like that. Again, Tuesday being Tuesday, Tool Tuesday made its return as well. So I went around and showed you the behind the scenes, what makes all of this tick, i.e. the cameras. So we speak about everything on this one from not so much a modelling point of view, but it's how you get to watch this. So we spoke about obviously the studio with the lighting, what I use for lighting, the LED banks, what they are, why they're there and everything else like that. The pros and cons to a lot of this as well. So I say that like my lighting bank, I still don't think are the best. I think they're on their way out. They're only about 4 years old now and they cost a lot of money. At the time they was over £800. So as I said, I think there's better options out there, something I might be looking about in about a year or two's time to sort of redo these things, and we can go through them like that. But then we talk about obviously the audio setup, the mics I use. Obviously I like Rode shotgun mics and stuff like that, and then right the way through to the cabling, how it works, how I get it on this system. We speak about editing on the fly, live editing, as well as obviously editing using Sony Vegas, and all those types of things, and capture cards, and what really brings you this and how it all works at the end of the day. And I think it's quite an interesting thing. Of course, loads of questions. Most of them I answered more directly because they were more specifics to technicals and stuff like that. But it did come up with some things because some people saying about condenser mics versus things like, you know, shotgun mics, lapel mics and stuff like that. So again, on the Wednesday, I answered a lot of those questions on that one and tried to help out you guys with some of it. But really what I was trying to do was, if you are thinking about doing video work and stuff like that, we were speaking, you know, summing it up, any camera will do, literally, as long as it's somewhat modern, you'll be absolutely fine. But just make sure you've got good lighting. Good lighting helps your camera. It makes the image cleaner, crisper, sharper. And also the thing is that sound quality as well, I think is very important. I think it's very utilized, shall we say. I think there's lots of good people out there who are great at what they do on YouTube and any other type of video media out there, but sometimes it's just a little bit hard to watch them purely because their sound is terrible and stuff. And it's something that I've tried to find a nice balance between a studio environment where it's still a room with walls and not having to go around and soundproof it. I know there's lots of people out there who soundproof their wall. It's supposed to be an office stroke studio stroke nice place to be as well. I don't want it to be like some sterile box to work in and everything else, but quite frankly I've got enough rubbish lying around here and junk, as everyone calls it, to stop that, because it's broken up. There's very little wall space just around here that's flat, so we don't really have that trouble. But it's quite interesting. Again, it's a nice sort of behind the scenes and everything like that. Obviously I've covered quite a bit. We are having some building work taking part here in the summer, various things like that. So what I'm going to do is hopefully I'm going to get a new office and stuff like that. So tool time will make a return like that. But in the meantime, what I'm going to try and do for tool time is do specific tools and their usage and why I like them and don't. So if you've got an idea of a particular tool or a piece of equipment that you love, you think it's great and you know I don't have, shoot me a comment or a mail directly, or whatever which way you get hold of me. Let me know what it is. I'll get hold of it and I'll test it and see what I think of it as well. So if you've got that, just that bit of kit that you've got, it might be whatever, you know, cutters or something else like that, tools, Dremels, power tools, sanders, anything you want, just let me know and then I'll get hold of a set and then I'll see exactly how good they are and if they work for me, because obviously what works for you might not work for me, but it might be an insight to other modelers who might want to have a look at it as well. So anyway, that was Tuesday. Wednesday, what did we do Wednesday? Wednesday was part 14 of the A10. And in there we do cover about, actually, is that this week or last week? No, sorry, today's part is the thing I'm getting confused about. On here we spoke about, what did we speak about? We were weathering the gear, so we painted, detailed using lead wire to do all the gear work. We installed and fitted that, and then it was all about the barrel on the front, which is a little bit of a handful to get in there to do it cleanly. Yes, you could just fill it up with glue and go for your life, but to make it nice and clean and everything else like that, you have to be a little bit delicate with it, and we did that. And then what we had to do is physically drill out the barrel because the plastic around it that's actually part of the fuselage is too thick and the photo etch barrel won't fit in, so you have to sort of smooth that out and thin it out, which it looks better anyway, to be able to fit the gun in and then getting it to the correct far in, because I know I see a lot of them, a lot of people have them, I think, poking out a bit too far. It tends to be 2.5 holes on the top as it slopes down and things like that. So we got it to the right length and then we got it installed and fitted on there just like that. So that was part 14 of that. It's quite in depth, quite technical, and obviously we paint it up and everything else like that. So that worked very, very well on there. Thursday, it was all about really on the Skyhawk. I've been working on the Skyhawk as we've been making our way through the week. If you've been watching the vlogs, you would have been following this as well. So I started on this, and to be honest, we are ready for primer. To be honest, if I can get the time this afternoon, I'm going to prime this because it is just all ready to go into primer right now. We just sort of masked up all the red stuff down on here. We've done a little bit of seam checking. I've rescribed around about the electronics bay on the top. I wasn't happy with the finish it had. What I'm going to do is give this coat a grey primer, and then this will be ready for paint next next week. So what I'm going to do is we'll get this one pre-shaded probably Monday or Tuesday, and then what we'll actually do is get the white work on this and the light gold grey, and then we'll get it deckled up, and then we'll go through the processes of weathering and making its way through like that. But I have to say, and this is what we were speaking about this particular kit, it's beautiful how you think this used to be around about a £20 kit. I think it used to be able to get it for around about £18 back in the sort of mid 90s to late 90s, and how what a fantastic kit they were. They just go together so well, and we were sort of, I'm not saying directly comparison, but how a kit this old is still far superior than other manufacturers that are out there now. And it just shows how it's not easy. It's not easy to come up with a kit that is literally shake and bake and you knock it out and everyone's just going to fall in love with it. These companies have been doing it a while and have cut their teeth. So, you know, that's what I was saying. Perhaps giving the new start companies and things like that a little bit of a slack, a bit more of an easy time, and let them get up to speed naturally than just sort of badgering them constantly about how terrible their kits are and all the rest of it. But anyway, really nice kit, very, very nice. As I say, it's gone together this week. We're all sorted, all the parts are over there, ready to go, all ready to be painted. So hopefully today, if I can get primer on it, that'd be great. If we don't, I'll probably do it over the weekend, and then we'll be set on this one on Monday. And then what's going to happen is on Monday you're going to get part 1 of this, and then it'll run through next week, and I'll get this one finished by then as well. So really nice. But this is my sort of mojo kit. As I said, I wanted to do a couple of little small mojos in between all the big builds and stuff like that. Well, this is definitely one of those ones, and that's what I quite fancy doing. 1/72 scale, you know, and obviously one sort of 48 scale, smaller stuff that I can put together within a week or two, and then we can then move on to the next big build, because obviously the one straight after this we're going to be doing that giant king tiger with a full interior. That's going to be the next big build, and then once off the back of that we'll do something quite small, and then we'll make our way through and working on the F16, the Tamiya 32nd F16 will be up after that, something in between, and then we're going to be into the Mozzie for the summer. So that'll be the big one for the summer, because I've got a ton of aftermarket for the actual Tamiya 32nd scale Mosquito with all the stuff in it like that. So plenty of that to come. Right, okay, now, you haven't seen Hans all week, purely because he's been sunning his backside on a lovely beach in Hawaii. Or one of the Hawaii islands. Where you at with Maui, I think, the top island. So he isn't been around, but obviously he'll be back with us hopefully next week and making his way through, so he'll do a bit of thing. Steve, on the other hand, and I'm hoping this, because I'm filming this just after 12, and I'm doing this late because he told me to hold on, because hopefully his tool chests have arrived. So anyway, let's find out.
Hello everyone, I'm Steve Sutcliffe, and this is my weekly vlog. So what have we been up to this week? Well, I think I'll start with my recent purchases. I've actually splashed out on some more Winsor & Newton Series 7 brushes. However, these ones are a little different. I've got quite a few different sizes. These are Series 7 miniature brushes. Basically, what the difference is the bristles are smaller. It's not as big. I'll show you a comparison between the two if I can. So obviously that's what they look like, the old Winsor & Newton. Probably the best brushes you can get on the market. Well, for my price range, I do believe there is more expensive ones available, but as you can see, it's also, I'll just put my hand behind it just to distinguish it. You can see where the bristles are, they're not that long. That's why they call it the miniature series. Now, if I get one of my normal ones, this one, which does need a good clean, I have actually bought some cleaner. You can see the size difference. The miniature looking a lot better at the top, and the longer normal Series 7 at the bottom. Again, you can't fault Winsor & Newton brushing. It's all about the quality and the bristles. Now, this one, it just needs a clean, and in fact, needs a clean, and I've had them years. I must have had a best part of 4 years. My Winsor & Newton ones that I've had, and they're still in really, really good condition. As long as you look after them, they'll last you. But I just wanted to fill the gaps where a couple of sizes I weren't missing, and try these miniature series ones just to see what they're like. I do have some figures that I'm hoping to paint. So what I'm going to do is just basically paint it in my own time, and then if I find out whether I can do it, and if I can do it, I'll record it and let you guys watch it. But I'm not making any promises there. No way. But we'll see how we get on. Also, today just arrived. It's still downstairs because they need bringing up. My new tool chests have eventually arrived. So they've got to be over the weekend. They need bringing upstairs, and then I'm going to sort out my cave and put all the stuff away. It's, you know, it's trebled my storage capacity. So I'm looking forward to getting everything sorted out, all tidied up, decluttered. I've got a bigger paint rack that's been made for me by one of the guys who comes to the meetings off the site. Malcolm Rose is making me a bigger paint rack, so I can get all my paints on there, and there's be enough room for it to expand as well. So yeah, I'm going to have a big tidy up. I want to put something just to my left here. Hoping to get my camera tripod kind of under the bench and popping up, so I can put my camera about here for when I'm doing videos to make it a lot better. Obviously at the moment you can see it's over my left shoulder, perched on top of the little kind of a wooden drawer slide thing. I'm not really happy with it there. I'd rather have it on a really good tripod, and then from that position I can swing it and film if I'm sat here or there, so it just makes things a bit easier for me. Right, on the modelling side, as you can see, the A10 is all done bar the weapons. I do need to go over the fan blades. Probably I might do, give them a bit more bell, but there she is. All nicely done. I haven't glued the canopy in place because that means I can move it around, and for if I take it to tell for this year, I can just whip the canopy off and not run the risk of it being banged or anything. But yeah, she's all done, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, every step of it. I'll get some photos taken and posted up. I've got quite a lot of stuff. I need to spend a day just photographing my models. But yeah, really nice project. Really enjoyed doing it. Probably take a couple of hours just to get all the weapons done that need to be put on, and the mirrors on the canopy. Also the PO tube on the wing needs to be added on, but it's just little jobs that you finish, come to the end of your building, you just lose interest, don't you? But it just needs to go over one more hurdle, spend one afternoon, and we'll get it done. And there you go, you see the canopy ain't done. And you can hear it rattles. That's the lead weight that I've got on the inside makes it rattle, which isn't right good. To be honest, once it's down, you never got to start moving it or shaking it, are you? So, but the problem is, I still get bits of lead shot rolling out of it whenever you move it like that. I don't know where it's finding its way out. I think it's somewhere up in the front wheel bay. Oh no, so there's a little vent at the back by the gun, and you get little bits of lead shot, and it's all got PVA glue on it, so it's obviously come loose because I didn't let it dry properly, and it just rolls around there, these big chunks. In fact, I found this the other day, at the size of that. When I just joined the two halves together, that's the size of chunk of lead shot that fell out. It's ridiculous. And I've still got, I'll be finding bits of lead shot for weeks to come yet. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, moving on. I've started my first full video build, and I'm building a petrol tanker from World War II, which, as I explained, I've told you about it before and I've explained in the build thread. I'm going to take a World War II petrol tanker and give it a kind of a post-war civilian look to it. So basically what I've done is Ron on the site made me a really nice set of stencils, masks, for a civilian petrol company in America. I won't tell you which one yet, but it's quite fun. It's a really good scheme. So the plan is to paint the tanker It's a kind of local garage owner. He's got a few petrol stations around his state, and he's obviously buys his petrol from this company, so he's got all the livery on his vehicle. But I want to give it so it's kind of a bit towards the end of its life, where all the paint's faded, chipped, a few little stains on it and all that. It's right at the end of its life, and I've just got to park it up on a bit of grassland. So it's got to be nicely weathered, faded. I'll be doing a lot of chipping on it. Obviously apply my own stencil, so you'll get to see how I do all that. So yeah, so I've done the first little bit, and basically the first part is just getting the chassis frame done and putting this little engine in, which is absolutely stunning. The camera's picking up quite well actually. There you go. It's, again, I'll put my hand at the back, just helps for you to see it a bit better that way. Yeah, it's a stunning piece of work. It's a Hobby Boss kit, and I'm really impressed with the engine level of detail, and it's made up with quite a lot of parts. Now, as you'll see when you see the video, I did make a mistake when I was doing this, which luckily I noticed in time. I'm leaving it in there. So see if you notice, it probably took me about 5 minutes or so, if that, to realise what I'd done. So see if you spot it before I mention it. But yeah, so the next part of the video, so I'll get part one's already sent to Phil just for him to sort it all out and get it up on the forum. But the next part, I'm going to completely do the chassis and put all the wheels, suspension, everything on. So you'll get to see that very soon. But what I am doing is, I don't want you to sit there and watch me hours and hours on end sanding all the parts. Obviously that's got to be a bit boring. I have basically what I'm going to do is anything that I think might be interesting or my technique might differ ever so slightly to Phil's. I'm just going to go in a bit more depth and show you how I do things. So there is a bit on the technique of how I clean up parts, so I'll do little bits like that. But what I'm planning on doing, like now on this bench over here, you can obviously see for the next stage of the build, I've cut off all the parts from the sprue, off the sprues, laid them out in a logical order. What I tend to do is, when you've got your instruction manual, I always work to the instruction manual. So I'll lay my parts out as you see them in the instruction manual. Same orientation, everything. That way you don't get confused, oh, where did that bit go and what's that for? And so it's a nice way of doing it. So I'm just cutting all the parts out, clean them all up, and then you can see me have fun trying to assemble them. Then if there's any fit issues, problems, you'll get to see it. So that's that petrol tanker build doing. And finally, at the moment on the forum, my area, I've got a poll running. It's to choose kind of the big build that I'm going to do kind of spring into summer. And I want you to pick which kit I go for. So we've got some really, really interesting options. Let's try and think now. We've got the M1070F Oshkosh British Army tank transporter. We've got the Antar tank transporter. We've got the Foden drops truck, which is a cargo 8-wheeled cargo truck, and that's got an ISO container on the back. Again, that's British Army. We've also got the FV434, which is a large scale 1/24th by Kitform Services engineering vehicle. And is there any more? I can't remember. And also the Stalwart amphibious vehicle for the British Army. So yeah, if you could take your time just to have a quick look there, see if there's any take your fancy, and take time out to tick one of the boxes, click one of the poll boxes. Though, can you please not just say underneath in the comments what I've noticed some people have said, oh, this gets my vote, blah blah blah, love to see you build this. but you put your comment, but you're not. Some people haven't actually clicked the poll results, so their vote technically isn't going to be counted. It's only counted if you click on the poll. Now the poll's open for I think it's about another 10 days. I'll put it up for a couple of weeks, so you've got plenty of time to vote. So once that's done, and I get to the painting stage on the petrol tanker, I will start that build. And my aim for my video builds from now on, I want to have kind of a standard plastic kit, out of the box build on the go. And also then got to do, while that's going along, I'm got to start on a more kind of a bigger build, more than likely a resin kit that I've got stashed away. So you got to have out of the box and a more complicated one. So this pole that's on the go at the moment, what I'll probably do is, once it's done, kind of set the order of the poles. So whatever comes second, that'll be next in line. So, and then the third, and then the fourth, and then the fifth. So we'll do it like that. So, because I know everybody's saying, "Oh, I'd love to see this built," so I'll get them built, and I'll put them in some kind of order. Now and again, I might slip another build in amongst, but we'll try and get them all done. The pole's just helping to put it all in an order. If that makes sense. So yeah, I'm just waffling now, aren't I? So for the week ahead, like I said, this weekend, blitz the cave, and then I want to get crack on and get this petrol tanker done, and find time just to finish the A10 off and get it photographed for you. And that's about it, really. I do have another kit. I've just bought another kit, so that should be here next week, and another little tool to play with. So when they come, I'll do a little review on this kit if I get a chance, and the tool as well. So till next week, happy modelling.
So now I'm winging this and hoping that his tool chest has arrived. If there was just a blank, like technical error or something, that means he hasn't got the video to me in time, or I'm having to make a terrible edit here. I ought to do the two versions really, but yeah, hopefully his tool chest has arrived. But he did message me, said, hold on, wait till about 2 o'clock, 2:30, and I'll get the video over to you and you can even put it in. So I'm just hoping he has by the time we do this. So well done to him. As I say, he's getting on really nicely with his A10, pushing through. As I said, it's one of those things, I deliberately took off a couple of days last week, if you remember, on the Wednesday, Thursday with no vlogs and that, so I could really push into this one, because like Steve was saying the other day, that you think you're almost there, you get to this type of situation, but actually there's still a lot to go on this particular kit. Just doing the cockpit area, adding all the parts down into there, that takes a lot of work, and then just all the bits and pieces and all the lumps and bumps to put over this, just the weapons plate alone and stuff, it takes quite a while to finish it off. So I had 2 full-on days just getting this thing finished. So bear with him, he'll get there and it'll look fantastic, and it'll be lovely to have both of them together hopefully at this year's Scale Model World, so you can do a direct comparison between me and Steve's being next to each other. That's if we've got a big enough table to fit all this stuff on. Anyway, the last part of this is, well, going to be probably around about Tuesday or Wednesday next week. But in the meantime, part 15 is up with you now. Now, this is the part which loads of people have been waiting for, because we do talk about this entire canopy setup. So we talk about doing this beading work, which is that gasket that sort of goes through that tan colour, and I make it out of masking tape. I show you exactly how I do that nice and close up, a lot better than I did in the vlog. I think it was Tuesday when I showed you. And then we talk about dipping the canopy on this one. So I know a lot of people asking about this new clear, or the care stuff as it's known, Pledge Care. I use it on this one, and we talk about something which it does do it, but I can never get it to do it on camera, and for the first time it did do it to me, is where you've polished it out perhaps, and maybe you've just got something left in there, so when you dip it, it will not stick to it, so it just repels off each time. We talk about double dipping and perhaps triple dipping, in my case got a hair in it, and stuff like that, to give you a nice crystal clear canopy actually on the A10. So anyway, that talks about that. I'm really pushing along with the detailed stuff. I think maybe 1 or 2 more parts left for this one, to say I'll be Tuesday or Wednesday next week, and that is going to be covering, obviously, doing all the detailed, I don't know if it's going to turn around here, quite close, but obviously, no, not quite, almost, the detail work all down in here. So we're doing all about the bays, wiring, how to make up wiring harnesses, stuff like that. And then it's just a case of talking about obviously the weapons fit, putting in the sway braces, all the details, the seat, painting, detailing the seat as well, we spoke about in today's part, and everything, really bringing this one to end. So I'm not sure how I'm going to edit the last part yet, if it may be into one longer part or into two separate ones. So if it's two, it'll be a part probably Wednesday and Thursday next week, and that will complete the build, which then pushes along really, really nicely. And as I said, this week I am going to miss that lump. Really am going to miss it. It's been absolutely a joy to work on. And again, just harping back to that thing about never be frightened to start a model. Never have a model in your stash, and I do say this for the end of this one, you're getting a sneak peek, but I do make a direct comparison about you looking at your stash sometimes and you think you're frightened to do a particular kit purely because you think you're not up to it, you don't have the skills for it, or you've heard it's not very good. Really, have a go at it. If you want to build something and you like the look of it, just do it. Don't be put off by it, don't be frightened by it. Remember, in modelling, there's nothing that can't be fixed. Even if you used to hack off a wing, you could easily put one back on, okay, and go through it. So that's what I say about this particular one. And again, it's one of those ones where I'm glad I've done it now, but I wish I'd done it years ago, because if I'd done it years ago, we'd have been absolutely dandy on that one. Fantastic. Anyway, a couple of things all going on at the moment. We've got the warts and all SIG, obviously A-10s and ground attack aircraft, subsonic stuff. You've got until the 21st of May to finish that one, so that's great. We've got 93 entries on the go for that one. The must be a German group build, which obviously that's where my Tiger is going to be coming in. I've got until the 2nd of July to finish that one. We've got 286 on the go with that, okay. Started last week, we've actually got the egg timer as I call it, but this is our egg build, just a little bit of fun. It's not just egg stuff this time, we're doing the cute stuff, all the little mini Meng stuff and stuff, all those things, all those little ones. You've got until the 16th of April going on there, and at the moment we've got 20 entries into that one, quite low this year. And then we've got starting on the 1st of April, so that'll be next week. Is it next week, the 1st? I think it is. We've actually got the Meng or Ming the Merciless group build. So that is basically anything by Meng armoured. Nothing to do with their aircraft. I know they do some 48th and 72nd scale. This is purely for the AFV guys, so all of their armoured stuff. And let's face it, they do some great kit. So if you want to have a go at that one, you can do that one. It is a SIG, so there is no sort of prizes and stuff like that coming for that one. But obviously the group builds, normal ones, they obviously get the medal and the little bits of prizes and things in there. And trust me, we've got some really nice stuff coming this year. In fact, I can't see them in front. They turned up yesterday. I know a few of the guys have seen them now. I've loved them, and more about that next week, definitely. So that is about it for me. Hopefully, by the time you watch this, you may get this as a review. If you're not, you'll get it on Monday. I might do it Saturday as well if I get a bit of time. But I've got to finish doing the review for this. I've got to be honest, do a little bit of a reshoot on it because I messed a bit up. Okay, but we got down here, this is the Airfix 1/72nd scale B-17G, their new one. It's supposed to be very nice, to be honest. It doesn't look too bad, but let's face it, it's not as if there isn't some B-17Gs out there anyway, but we'll be having a look to see how the Airfix one stacks up with that. So it'll either be up with you today or it may be up with you on Monday. We'll just see how we work with that one. But as I say, these days I tend to put them out as soon as I've got them. So that is about it from me. Join me again next week. We've got all the vlogs making our way through. Just summing up, guys, remember, if you want to be coming over to Yearly, there is a thread running in the forum. I'm doing around about 25 people a day, transferring them over. You want to move over, you just shout and I'll move you. If I haven't got to you yet, just bear with me. It's just a bit of a backlog. As I say, when you've got as many members as we've got and you want to all move over to the new pricing and the new yearly rate, it is going to take us a little bit of time to do it, okay? And then what happens, don't forget, as of the 1st of April, the new pricing structure does come in. So if you sign up, you will be signed up to the £4 a month, or you can do the £40 a year option if you want to do it that way. And also all of the Flory models items, so washes, sanders, pigments, the merchandise, and a few other new things that are coming along shortly, they are going to have to go up in price as well. And then hopefully, if I've still got my maths all correct, which is all over there, I need to double check it still, prices are going to be going up between 10 and 20%. Okay, so we've tried to keep it somewhere in there, in between the two. All right, so from that point of view, don't panic. It's not going up huge amounts, but it is going to have to jump up a little bit, I'm afraid. But members, again, don't worry, I've got your back on this. You're going to be very well covered for it. So that is it for me this week. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to leave you now with your great work from the gallery. So till Monday, everybody, happy modelling. Take care.
faces, prolong the embraces. We were always one for the breakaway, but we're nearing chances to wake the day.